Good morning, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane Pro and HD video discussion now on newly formed Tropical Depression 3 in the extreme southern Gulf of Mexico. This news just coming out within the last few minutes. Here it is, located on the northern tip of the Yucatan, southern Gulf of Mexico. Let's look at a satellite imagery loop of this system real quick, and then we will go from there looking at the tracking information. Floater imagery showing the latest. They still have it 93L, but it is Tropical Depression 3, and this is the visible satellite animation of the system. The low-level center located somewhere in here, and you can see that most of the shower and thunderstorm activity, or what we call convection, or weather, the sensible weather that would give you squalls and wind and things like that, that's on the east side of the low-pressure area, and that is because it is poorly defined overall, compared to what it could be, certainly. And you can tell a little bit about why that is with these clouds streaming up here from southwest to northeast, upper level winds peeling away at the system, not allowing it to consolidate, which is a good thing, because with water temperatures the way they are, if the upper level winds were favorable across the entire area, this would definitely be on its way to becoming a hurricane. But they are not that favorable, and therefore most of the intensity guidance it's going to be right kind of in the middle of the tropical storm, sort of a modest tropical storm, if you will. Winds 40, 50, maybe 60 miles per hour at best. You never say never, but this does not look like the environment that would support being a hurricane in that region. And so we'll talk about the impacts that you can expect from this soon-to-be and forecast to be tropical storm Colin. So this is the track map, the latest one, the first one that has come out, headed straight up towards the Big Bend area of Florida, and then a good deal of the panhandle here, at least the eastern half, all the way down to a good part of the western coast of Florida itself, the peninsula, under a tropical storm warning. And so that means tropical storm conditions, not just the center, the little S shape in here and the dot, but the weather, the wind, surge, heavy rain, all of that can be expected anywhere in this blue area, and that's important to note what's coming your way. Now let's explain the impact a little bit. The water temperatures definitely warm enough to support tropical activity in the area in the low to mid 80s. This is the vorticity signature, just showing you the health of the system, starting to take on a more rounded appearance, less amorphic, as we say. It's more bundled and round in nature. The upper level winds, if you can look here, this is where the center is located. Again, the heavier weather off to the east of there. And the upper level winds aren't terribly unfavorable here, but farther to the west, they are certainly stronger, and that will limit the intensification. Nevertheless, and this was what it shows at 36 hours, forecast for this should be right in here somewhere. And even though these upper level winds are strong, they are divergent just enough through here. You see they're not all parallel to each other, that there's enough support in the atmosphere, trying to get my words here, that this should come in as a tropical storm. Therefore, you folks here along the coast, the possibility of storm surge flooding, how much and for where, we'll have to wait and see when those products come out from the National Hurricane Center. And you can bet that Hurricane Pro and HD will be tweeting that, so follow in the app and on social media. I will be doing the same, of course, on Hurricane Track and our Twitter associated feeds, etc. So this area through here, the storm surge, most vulnerable for this system. But then over the peninsula itself, very heavy rainfall, the possibility of severe weather because of these upper level winds in a highly sheared environment. Not your typical storm, I'll say that again, but the effects will certainly seem tropical, but it's also going to have some of those spring and winter storm kind of effects because of the highly sheared environment. So severe thunderstorms a possibility, more of a chance of isolated tornadoes this time around. So my best advice, with all that being said, here I am saying, no, don't worry, it's not going to be a hurricane, but I don't want to downplay the impacts that are coming. And the best way to get your head around that, to understand what could affect you locally, is to go to weather.gov, weather.gov, put in your zip code, and read the local hurricane statements that they put out. Read anything that they have as far as warning and watch update information, hurricane local statements like I mentioned. And then, of course, you can follow the local weather radar. There's a great one for mobile devices that we use called Radar Scope. There are other ones out there as well that are free. Radar Scope's about $10. We're not associated with them at all. I'm just telling you, that is a great app. And, of course, you can follow along all kinds of different experts on social media, those that you trust, local weather experts in your market, in your local area, and then as well as those of us out here in the non-television hurricane blogosphere, if you will, Hurricane Pro, HD, Mark Sudduth here, Hurricane Track, and there are others as well. The bottom line, you want to know what's going to happen for you, seek the information out for your local area. It's there, and you can know what to expect. I'll do the best I can of explaining it as the hours progress. This is going to make landfall in the next couple of days, so this isn't something that we have a week to watch. This will be happening early this week, and we need to stay on top of it. All right, so with that being said, as always, I do appreciate you tuning in and hopefully learning something from these video blogs that we do for Hurricane Pro and HD. I will be back tomorrow again. I am Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com and, of course, Hurricane Pro and HD, and I'll have another video discussion for you tomorrow morning.